So I'm just going to revisit a story I did the other day. It's basically about the dual standards between what you have to do when you're selling ice and what you can do when you're promoting EVs. When you're promoting EVs, you can do anything. And all you do is just call people. That's what it seems like to me. Call you with impunity. That's a lie. Okay, if it's a lie, show me where I've lied. Oh no, you can't. You can't because I've actually put evidence linked to what I've said.
BCA UK need to answer this. The answer I know is the truck was the cause of the fire. Please ask BCA. The truck couldn't have been the cause of the fire. Perhaps the transporter part of it, the trailer, could have been, but it wasn't the truck. The cabin would have been engulfed in flames first. If that was the problem, the cabin would have gone up and then the fire would have gone backwards.
A week or so ago, there was a transporter fire on the M5. And I was at my desk early, as I always am. In fact, on that morning, me and Jeff Buys Cars were exchanging messages. And then later, Jeff came out with like a news bulletin that there's a fire on the motorway and there's all these 9 BYDs gone up in smoke on a transporter.
This is from TikTok. This was the fire as they went down the northbound. The fire is on the southbound. The vehicle is going towards Cornwall, heading to the ocean. Tony and I were wondering if it was a BYD a dolphin heading to the ocean, but no, there it is. Look, you can see the cab is intact. The lights are still on the cab at this stage as well, which says to me that most likely the fire has started on the trailer.
And I'd already got emails off different people, my subscribers. And again, I really, really thank you. I thank you for the leads, but I will try not to say anything that I can't find confirmation from a credible source. When I say credible source, I don't mean experts, because experts, seemingly these days an expert is used to describe somebody who won't give the name, who isn't confident enough with their information and their knowledge to say, I'm Barrie Crampton, this is what I say. They won't put the name to it. It all started with Jill Nowell, say absolutely nothing against these people. Everybody's got to make a living. Fanning the flames of EV misinformation, bracing myself to read the comments on the article about the diesel transporter that caught fire, which happened to be carrying an electric car. So it could have been carrying anything. I was pleasantly surprised to read so many comments in support of electric vehicles. Lots of people were combating the misinformation that always surrounds these type of inflammatory headlines. Are we now starting to see the sensationalised reporting for what it really is? I'm hopeful. And then, update, just read another article about the same fire. We still have a long way to go. So I've covered this before, Gary Comerford. It's a case of constantly chipping away at the naysayers and the misinformation, own up to issues when there are issues and slap down those who would mislead, misinform and misdirect. Take special care to identify those who would engage in paltering, the selective use of truth to mislead. Wow. Now, I'm going to remember paltering because that's exactly what the EV people do. You'll find lots of those when it comes to this incident. A transporter carrying electric vehicles set alight. True. Electric vehicle fires are harder to put out and fiercer than petrol fires. True. Look at the transporter. All that fire damage. Just like the damage you'd expect from an EV fire. Misleading. So, I was surprised not to see comment about the Heathrow Airport car park fire earlier this week. News outlets were mute about the vehicle type, even though the London Fire Brigade stated that it was caused by a diesel vehicle. Now, the London Fire Brigade stated it was caused by a diesel vehicle. Just kind of remember that. Jill's reply. John Fox. Media will shoehorn a bleak blame into EVs at every opportunity. I guess diesel just doesn't spark. No, it's compressed. That diesel ignites with compression, not a spark. The same interest and onslaught of comment. It also don't continue to burn underwater. Oblique, let's have a look. What does oblique mean? The word oblique means something that is slanted, indirect, or not straightforward. Its meaning depends on the context. Here are the main uses in everyday English. He gave an oblique answer, meaning indirect, evasive, or not clear. She made an oblique reference to her past, meaning hinted at without saying it directly. Joe Transu. When you look at the accounts which make dumb comments about EV fires, many, not most yet, are suspicious accounts. Edit. This is in support of EVs. The dumb comments are the ones citing bad statistics, lies and information. I think it's vital that we all understand what's at stake here. Currently, around 70% of every barrel of oil goes into petrol or diesel fuels. If we all buy EVs, the vast majority of this will become virtually worthless. Think of the power and influence of big oil. Do you think they will stand idly by and let this happen? I think not. We should expect more and more anti-EV propaganda as time goes on. Colin H. You sure it wasn't an electric transporter disguised as a diesel version? It's the sort of thing the EV lobby would do. Yes, misinformation is terrible. I totally agree, and the sooner the EV mouthpieces stop dishing it out and EVs are sold on features and benefits to buyers whose needs they actually meet, then the sooner instant buyer remorse and the feeling of being ripped off will subside. RIP these Tesla drivers. What an horrific way to die that is. A tree running out in front of them. I put two examples. People being trapped in their EVs and getting burnt to death. Then this Gary Cormerford came back to me and gave a couple of examples. One's Diogo Jota in his Lamborghini, which obviously isn't a EV, and the other one was Paul Walker. So I replied to Gary, I see you've made the same fatal mistake in your bio, because like the rest of them, you think if you don't want an EV, you need educating. Keep it up. What we need is to sell them properly and shut the EV mouthpieces up who do more harm than good. I honestly believe that. I believe that people like this come across as being obnoxious, condescending, arrogant, and just have an overall superiority complex. They just think they're better than you because you don't want an EV. So you must be stupid. Not because they don't suit your needs, you must be stupid and you need educating. We'll just go to Gary's bio. The transition to EVs is all about education. Help me spread the knowledge and fight the misinformation. Subscribe to the EV Musings podcast, newsletter or Patreon account. I really think that's a bit sad. And I also put to Gary, are you suggesting Paul Walker couldn't get out of his petrol Porsche GT because he couldn't open the door from the inside? Now that's the problem with some of these electric vehicles. Apparently Teslas, I believe there is a catch that you can open the doors on. I need to look at it in more detail because I can't think of a worse way of dying, especially when you're in your car with two children and you can't get out. It just knocks me sick to even think about it. I just hate the thought. Are you suggesting Paul Walker couldn't get out? Now, Paul Walker's Porsche GT was about so big, and it reminds me of a skit I once saw a long time ago. You know, it was a joke where a stuntman got in a car, he got his crash helmet on and all his protective gear, and the commentator was wishing him luck, and then the next thing you see, he's in a car crusher. At the time, you know, I found it hilarious when I watched it. A guy called Super Dave Osborne, and I thought it was so funny. And at the end of it, at the end of this funny skit, the car that Super Dave Osborne was in and you know, had been in the crusher. It wasn't much smaller than that. So Gary's flippant reply, Diego Jota, who his car wreckage was scattered over hundreds of yards, and then Paul Walker, these people had bumped into something and the car set on fire. The car still looked, you know, you could still recognise it as a car. It just looked like it had a bump on the front and they couldn't get out. If that's the case, then that's terrible. So then again, Gary, who can't help himself, welcome back to this chat after a 3-day absence. I appreciate you adding a comment and bringing it back to the attention of the algorithm. Gary thinks that's a win. But I think it's misinformation on the EV mouthpieces side. So I've put, my pleasure, shame no one's answered the question. The reason I didn't answer it was because I assumed it was rhetorical. You posted reports of someone trapped in a vehicle while it burned. I posted a number of similar reports of people trapped in different kinds of vehicles as they burned. The implication was that people dying in burning vehicles is not confined to BEVs. Well, to be honest, Gary, it seems to be confined to burning EVs where people are fully conscious, not squashed, not already dead. Not many dead people can actually get out of a car, can they? Not many people who are in a car that's all that's left of it is that can get out of a car, can they? So, in all honesty, you're being a twat. The algorithm could get attention from this for a long time. Well, it will do because nobody's answered me. So I came back to them again. I would be interested to see the official report that says it was the transporter that caught fire first, where you have got your information from, because as of yesterday the fire brigade had not given a cause and I could only find one social media post that said they had seen sparks coming from the transporter. I have however seen this, which is a post by Lee Hurst, the comedian, and it seems to offer a different story. Just heard something from one of the dads whose boy is in my son's class. He drives a car transporter for BCA. One of his colleagues had 8 Chinese EVs on the back, one randomly caught fire, took out the others, and the whole transporter as well, closed down the M5. He said they're all worried as they sleep in their trucks. I did not hear about this on the news. It was all over the news, shut the M5 in both directions. I know that, Lee, but I asked to be shown the article which shows it was the transporter that caught fire, then ignited the EVs rather than vice versa. The lady has stated it was the transporter. I can't find evidence of this. Certainly not in the fire report, but what I have seen is the tweet from Lee Hurst, which points to the EV setting fire and the transporter drivers now being afraid to sleep in their cabs. So in the interest of stopping misinformation, I would like to see the report that originated all the shock and horror in this post. Is that too much to ask? So unless someone can point me to the report that confirms the fire started on the diesel transporter as I have politely asked for, I'm going to have to assume the commenters in this story and thread have done exactly what they are accusing the people who said it was the EVs that caught fire first of. If that is the case, I would refer you to fanning the flames of misinformation. Part of your outrage story. It would seem to me that both sides have a long way to go. Then we get Dan Cesar. We've got no time for at all. No time, no respect, no nothing. Everything I've seen from Dan Cesar and his answers just make me think he is the wrong person to be trying to promote electric vehicles. His attitude, I've got a bad attitude, you've no need to tell me. But I'm not trying to push EVs. Dan Cesar, yes, we know what happened directly, Barrie, whereas you got your info from the worst source imaginable. I've got some magic beans to sell you, by the way. Again, that attitude, you know. Dan, if you want a battle of wits, I've got to tell you, you're unarmed, mate. It's quite funny. One of my mates used to go out with a girl who worked in a legal department. My mate's very educated, got a couple of degrees. Don't know what he hangs around with me for, But anyway, his girlfriend said to him, I'm a bit worried about inviting Barrie. So he said, oh, why is that? So she says, well, he's a car salesman, and like, there's all barristers and solicitors coming. And my mate said to her, yeah, you're right. He says, I'll have a word with him and make sure he doesn't make them cry. So, you know, Dan, I've got some magic beans to sell you. Trust me, you need the magic beans, not me. Ben Kilby, look, award-winning founder of tactical communications, business development, investor relations, lobbying, relations manager, fixer, bold voodoo. You are your own narrative, own it. University of Lincoln. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of people involved with universities, to be fair. Ben Kilby, Barrie Crampton, Lee Hurst is your data source. I really have no concerns about being factually correct here. Like I said, BCA UK can tell us the facts. If it turns out you're right, cool. In the meantime, Jill Nowell's post is trending on LinkedIn thanks to you. So he's not bothered if they're wrong. Lobbying. Award-winning founder of tactical communications. Relationship manager. Ben's not bothered. But he likes the fact that this post, which may or may not contain misinformation at this moment in time, or unconfirmed information. So I've put, Ben, please read what I actually put. I'm not right or wrong, as I haven't claimed anything. If you are happy for misinformation trending, then that says a lot about you. You lot certainly have your own way for looking at things. I'm aware that you lot in a race argument can be taken the wrong way, but this is EV mouthpieces, you lot. You lot in this, you wouldn't be following her if you weren't in that lot. So, Barrie Crampton, who is you lot? I drive an EV. If you don't want to, no stress. But if you don't care about EVs, why so adamant it was an EV that caused the fire when you have zero knowledge about EVs? Do you like guessing and assuming with everything in life, or do you just like getting on your soapbox with your lot, whoever they are? Last time I checked, we're all humans, so we're all the same lot. Well, no. And it's me that looks at things my own way. Enjoy your evening. So going back to that, I haven't claimed anything. I'm asking for clarification. I haven't said it's an EV anywhere. I drive an EV and I love it, thanks. It's perfect for me and it suits my needs down to the ground. I'm not adamant that it was an EV and I've never said it was. As far as having zero knowledge about EVs, if anyone is guessing and assuming a lot, then that would be you, not me. I've asked the writer and you for confirmation and a reference or official report to your source, and none of you can supply it. The writer has liked replies to my comment, but not answered me, which again speaks volumes. There must be £300,000 worth of vehicles gone up in smoke. Surely there should be an official statement as to the cause of the fire, and the official fire brigade report does not say where the fire started, but yet the EV spokespeople know. I asked how. Now you are all getting super defensive. It's not a good look. I've spelt look wrong there. It's not a good look for you, I'm afraid. But thank you. My night is good, and I hope yours is too. When I say you lot, I mean you EV people who talk to others like they are idiots. You know, like I have some magic beans to sell you, or an aging comedian, or twist people's words. You know, the ones who like getting on their soapbox and preaching the EV gospel. I'm afraid you aren't helping. If anything, you are creating division. It's very sad. I haven't said the EVs have caused fire. All I've done is pointed out that there is other hearsay out there on the internet that says it was the EVs. I would think Lee Hurst, to be fair, I would think Lee Hurst is quite a credible source. I don't think he would lie. Why would he? What benefit does he have of lying? So he's repeated something he's heard, whereas I want to know where Jill has heard from that it was the transporter. That's what I'm asking. I haven't said it's anything. I haven't done a story, because that would be clickbait. That really would be. I haven't done a 9 BYDs go up in flames on the M5. I've not done it because I haven't got confirmation from a credible source. There you go, I've already told him. What's the misinformation? What's the misinformation you need to clarify? You say it's an EV fire with zero evidence. Sorry, a tweet from an aging comedian. I tell you, the driver of the truck said it was the truck. BCA UK to confirm. And I am spinning misinformation. Surely this is what they use to call conversation. Now it's division. If I have been misinformed, I'll be the first to say I was misinformed, but I am not spinning a narrative based on a tweet from a comedian. How am I spinning a narrative? You say it's an EV fire. I didn't say it's an EV fire. These people, they straight in, jump straight in. I haven't said it's an EV fire. I have just offered an alternative hearsay version. And I want to know how they're so sure, because I'm not sure. I've been onto the fire brigade. The fire brigade haven't confirmed it. Now you saw before they confirmed a diesel fire, but they haven't confirmed this is a diesel fire. They haven't said it was the transporter so far, and certainly not when this all started on LinkedIn. You say it's an EV fire. I never said it was an EV fire. With zero evidence. I'm asking for your evidence. Sorry, a tweet from an aging comedian. Why does age have to come into it? What different? What is Lee Hurst senile? Has he somehow got the driver told him it was the transporter, and because Lee's aging, like probably younger than me, but because he's aging, he's got it wrong. Is that why? So, you know when I was saying you lot before, Ben is now saying ageist things. I tell you, the driver of the truck said it was the truck. Did he tell you, Ben, that it was it? Did the driver of the truck tell you directly, Ben, that it was the truck? Did the driver of the truck make a statement to the fire brigade? Because I'm assuming there's going to be an insurance claim somewhere for a transporter and 9 EVs. I would think there'll be an investigation there, and I will also think there'll be an investigation into the transport to make sure it was actually roadworthy and that the fire couldn't have been prevented. It was an accidental fire, not one that's been put down to improper servicing. So for the BCA driver to come out and say it was their transporter that's just destroyed 9 brand new BYDs would make me think in future, should I be using BCA to transport my vehicles? It's a big thing. It's a big thing here. It's a big thing what caught fire first, because the other thing I would be thinking, if it was the EVs and I was BCA, I'd be thinking, do I want to put my drivers in danger by transporting BYD electric vehicles? This is massive. This isn't just a hearsay thing. It's a massive insurance claim. What, 9? There must be 30 grand each, yeah? 270 grand trailer and a transporter. Must be another 150. So it's a £500,000 claim. No doubt. Motorway damage too. It's a massive claim. So these people aren't taking it, or you lot aren't taking it as serious as I am. Chances are, yes, we know what happened directly, Barrie, whereas you got your info from the worst source imaginable. I've got some magic beans to sell you. As I say, I was just using that. That would be what I would say is a rebuttal to your information. And there's any amount of others that say it was the EVs that caught fire. But I'm not saying it. I'm asking for your proof. Which bit of I haven't got any information do you not understand? I've seen hearsay from your side stating it was the transporter and hearsay saying it was the EV. But to be honest, I wouldn't trust any of you. So I'm asking to see the report that states it was the transporter. You know what happened directly, but the fire brigade don't. Magic beans, sorry Dan, but you couldn't sell a life belt to a drowning man. So you can keep your magic beans. Then, Dan, and to be honest, I've never noticed this before on my LinkedIn because I don't use LinkedIn for anything really. It's only just that recently there's been articles coming to light on LinkedIn that I've been looking to for proof, and also for, I like these quirky EVs, and there's a lot of people, entrepreneurs, starting up these small EV factories, and I think they're great. I think that's what they should be. So I've been following these people, but occasionally I keep getting suggested tweets. I don't follow Dan. I don't like him. I don't like him at all. He won't lose any sleep. He won't like me. I won't lose any sleep. But Dan here has put my picture on Barrie Crampton. Dan Cesar. He's just put it up. But I noticed here it says open to work. Now, I don't know how that got on. All I can say is I've never updated my LinkedIn page, I don't think, since I opened it. Whether I was open to work then, I'm not sure. But I think that's kind of a gotcha. Barry's open to work. In other words, nobody's employed him because he don't know what he's talking about. What Dan doesn't know is there's people contacting me all the time about EVs and asking me to work for them and asking my opinion on what they should do with their EV stock that they can't get rid of. And it's bombing and has cost them a fortune, and it has reduced their capital and has reduced their stocking plan facilities. They can't afford to pay it off the stocking plan, because if they do, they'll have to add their own money because it's worth less than they borrowed on it. Bearing in mind, you can only borrow about 80% of a vehicle's true value, trade value. That's the scenario. And these people are asking me, I'm pretty sure they're not ringing Dan up and asking his opinion on EVs, because his opinion is obviously a little bit biased. So he's put this picture of me that's open to work. Dan, who put my photo off LinkedIn, off my LinkedIn profile, actually it's still the same. As I say, I don't know when. I don't know when I put that up. But you should have said if you wanted a photo, Dan. And I've put a photo of me and my little Citroen Ami, which I love. Reply to Ben Kilby. I know it's a bit higgledy-piggledy. I'll try and put it into a better order. But this is the way that LinkedIn shows the conversation. Ben Kilby, you and your EV club friends completely take everything out of context. I get it. Now you show that your age is too. What has age got to do with what he's heard? Has your age got anything to do with what you have heard? Am I to understand that the driver of the truck told you directly? Did he tell you, Dan and Jill, all at the same time or separately? To be honest, I wasn't using Mr. Hurst's tweet as a narrative. I just wanted to show that there is hearsay on both sides, and I want to know the truth, which you lot seem to have no interest in.
Now the point is, which nobody in this forum seems to get, is they've claimed it was the transporter. Definitely. So here he comes back again. I thought it was all over there, and that was the message. No need to thank me, guys, but I would like to bring this conversation back to the algorithm's attention, as I still have not had an answer to my question or been shown proof. Been told who heard what. Was it first-hand or again Chinese whispers? As far as the driver saying it was the transporter, as you claim, and BCA confirming it, I would have to wonder why an employee or the actual firm would volunteer this information to a third party when it must be the subject of a £500,000 insurance claim and they are admitting liability. The next question is, how or why did the transporter catch fire? Was it a maintenance issue or an electrical fault? Big can of worms, I'm afraid, especially when there's video footage out there that shows that the cab isn't on fire. So it's not the diesel, let's get that straight. It's not the diesel engine that caused the problem. The fire must have started at the back, so therefore I'm assuming it's a maintenance issue. If it was the trailer, then it would probably be the brakes binding, I would think. It's not the diesel engine in the tractor unit. It's something at the back, okay? So whatever they say, it is not the diesel transporter that caused the problem. It's either the trailer or the electric cars on the trailer. Those are the only two things it can be.
But no, there it is. Look, you can see the cab is intact. The lights are still on the cab at this stage as well, which says to me that most likely the fire has started on the trailer.
So Ben's come back to me again. As I say, I thought that was the end of it and I wouldn't hear any more. BCA UK need to answer this. The answer I know is the truck was the cause of the fire. Please ask BCA. The truck couldn't have been the cause of the fire. Perhaps the transporter part of it, the trailer, could have been, but it wasn't the truck. The cabin would have been engulfed in flames first. If that was the problem, the cabin would have gone up and then the fire would have gone backwards. As it is, it's gone forwards, from what I can see and what I can understand. BCA UK need to answer this. The answer I know is the truck was the cause of the fire. Please ask BCA. Also, can you direct me to the fire report you mentioned? Cheers. Now, everything I refer to in my videos, I refer to proof or an article, and I interpret the article. So I cannot be accused of lying. So here we go. I'm sure Ben thought I hadn't seen an article, but I had. Absolutely, Ben, because, oh, I see. You thought I'd just made things up to suit a narrative. Sorry, that's not my style. And still no answers from your lot, i.e. the members of the forum that have all claimed it was the transporter, but none of them have come up with any absolute substantial proof or an article that refers to it. I didn't think anything, but thanks for guessing my thinking. You lot, there you go again. Too much time on your hands. I'm retired. yeah. Well, this keeps me busy. So he's come back to me, he's looked at the report, and remember, I haven't said that it was the electric vehicles. I've asked them for their proof, how they know 100% that it was the transporter. Barrie, there's zero in the report that makes me think it's the EVs. So what's your point? A report that doesn't know what caused the fire? If you don't know it wasn't the transporter, why not wait for BCA UK to update us? Because you've already updated us. Jill has got 5,000 followers. You've got God knows how many followers. Dan Cesar's got probably thousands of followers on that and the Full of Shit show. And you've updated them. Why didn't you wait? That's the question. That's what I'm asking. Why didn't you wait? One articulated lorry containing 9 electric cars, all 100% damaged by fire. Crews used water and foam jets to extinguish the fire. Accidental cause. Equals Barrie gets on his high horse with zero evidence to point to either of us being right or wrong. Thank goodness Lee Hurst gave you the confidence to keep going. Good old Lee, the battery expert, Brexiteer. Again, you know, Lee Hurst says he's heard something, why would he lie? And he's repeated it. He's not done anything different than these people who say they've heard from the transporter driver. Barrie gets on his high horse with zero evidence. I'm asking for the evidence, which these people in this forum fail to understand. They have given out information as gospel, which they don't know is true and cannot know it's true. If they did, they would have shot me down straight away. Here's the evidence, like I've done. This is the evidence. This is my evidence. This is what I've gone on. But they haven't done. All they've done is resort to calling me names and being ageist about Lee Hurst. Good old Lee, the battery expert, Brexiteer. He's just repeated something he's heard. Why does Brexiteer come into it? Why does his age come into it? And why call him a battery expert? Has he professed to be a battery expert? No. They do the same old thing. If they don't get their own way, they start calling you names. My answer to Ben: Jeepers, you like to make up your own narrative, don't you? I've never said what caused it. Again. I asked how you knew it was the transporter that caught fire first, and it's obvious that none of you know for certain, but are quite happy to speculate while calling others for saying it was the EVs. Hypocrite much? Then you just make stuff up about what I've said. Laughable. Me to Ben again. Read back through your replies, Ben, and those of the others in the group. Not only do you guess a lot, but you have a short memory too. Agreed. My short memory means I can forget this interaction ever happened. Best of luck in the future, and I look forward to seeing your heartfelt response when BCA UK update us. Onwards and upwards, and good luck with the job hunt. Again, little... Ben thinks I'm looking for a job when I'm knocking them back every day. But anyway, I think it's funny. And again, what he fails to realise is I haven't said it's the EV. I've asked them for their proof. I don't know how many times I need to tell these people or ask these people for it to sink in. They are so blinded and blinkered by their love of EVs and their hate of anybody who doesn't love EVs that they can't read. They can't understand a question. My reply to Ben: I know this has gone on and I'm awfully sorry, but I just want to demonstrate that these people that are putting this myth information out about EVs, they have no shame. Ben, I just asked to see your proof or proof from the others in the group that it was the transporter that caught fire first, as I couldn't find anything definitive. Turns out you didn't have any then, or now for that matter, so for me it doesn't really matter what BCA say in the future. By the way, I'm 67 and I'm retired, so not really looking for a job, even though I still keep getting offered them. You should go and see someone about that memory issue. Although I can see the advantages of being able to forget when you've shown yourself up, it can't be good when you forget what someone has said in the previous comment. Have a good night, Ben. I never said it was the EVs that caught fire. I just wanted to get to the bottom of the story. Don't forget that. Have a good night yourself. Thanks. Now, hopefully, that's the end of it.
As I say, misinformation. If you hate something, you can be blinded. But I don't hate EVs. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.